Hi, I'm Woodpecker today. I'm on vacation. I spent 7 days at the cottage last week. The water level was awfully low and the weather was not really what I called great. But I had time to do the things I wanted to do there. I don't know if you remember, in May 2014 I found my chimney lying on the ground, and in September René and I fixed it. But I didn't have time to spread any rough cast on it, so it's time to fix that. We begin by sifting bags of sand. The first sifting is done with a 1/4-inch wire mesh. This removes the big rocks. Next, we sift with a metal window screen. After that, I end up with nice fine sand. Then, with the sand, I mix a batch of mortar. When it reaches the thickness I want, I spread it on the chimney. After half an hour or so, I level it all with a rubber trowel. But I'm unable to finish the chimney before the rain starts to pour. I'm forced to finish the job under a tarp. It rains for the rest of the day. The next morning the weather is better and we remove the scaffold I built last year. And I'm able to confirm that buying cheap tools isn't worth it. An old wooden handle is always reliable. When everything is down, I can better see the job I did. It's not perfect, but it's better looking than before. The next morning, it's abnormally cold outside. We could even see some flurries. I decide to stay inside and fix the thermometer I want to put in my shop. I built it almost 10 years ago. Yes, back in the days, I used to make a lot of electronic designs. You can even see my old logo. Now I mostly make them on prototype boards, like my microcontroller programmer and the electrical panel simulator. All the connections are small wires. But since I designed it, it's easy to fix. But the programming was only done for one sensor. I want 4 in my shop. So, for several long hours, I reprogrammed it. And to check if everything works fine, I used a cottage freezer. Now that I'm satisfied with it, I hook up the remaining 3 sensors. When all 4 are working, the only place I'm able to check them is beside the cottage refrigerator. I can now see the ambient temperature, behind the refrigerator, inside the freezer, and finally inside the refrigerator. After that, I'm happy. So I go for a walk with the dog. I need protection in case of a bear attack. On our last day, we wake up to a centimeter of snow on the ground. I probably love snow more than the average Joe. But it's May after all. This is too much. So we decide to come back home. Back in my shop, I still have 2 days left of vacation, so I decide to install my new thermometer. First of all, a plastic box doesn't work with my decor. I find 5 strips of thin scrap of different wood species. After, I spread a generous coat of glue between each strip. I clamp them together for a couple of hours. Then, with a hand plane, I make one side straight. Cut both sides. And finally, rip it to it. Next, I make a rabbet to hold the front plexiglass. I change my setup and make another one for the back. Then I make 2 chamfers on the front of the frame. Finally, I cut 4 pieces for the frame. Before doing anything else, I check if the frame is okay. Then, I spread some glue on each miter and clamp the frame. After a couple of hours, I remove the clamp and sand it. Finally, I clean and spray it. The next morning, I cut a small piece of red plexiglass as the front window. This is the new look of my thermometer. Then I cut the back of it and drill some holes to hold it in place. I also drill a hole for the interior temperature sensor. Then I'm able to close it. This is what it looks like. But before I'm able to install it to the wall, I need to get the exterior sensor wire outside. I solder the sensor to it and put a protective shrink tubing over it and reinstall the soffit. This is what my exterior sensor looks like. Now I have to hook up all the wires to the thermometer. I start by removing 4 of my wall planks. Then, I don't just have a nice view of my insulation, I can reach the other end of the wire of the exterior sensor. After all the holes are drilled for the wires, I'm able to put the planks back. This is the shed sensor sticking out. This one is from the dust collector room. And here it is, working fine, just like I planned. I was able to do several small things during my week of vacation. And I hope to see you soon for the next episode of The Woodpecker.